Art is nothing but a complex which has become independent, or which, having become wild, wants to express itself to the fullest, to use your words, or wants to be transformed, to use mine. When the artist creates, it is not the need to communicate to others that manifests itself. The complex simply wants to come out. In science as well, the thought, or whatever it may be, that one has formulated after long torment necessarily wants to be communicated to others. Late spring 1909. I told him how my exams had gone, but I was deeply depressed that he displayed no pleasure at hearing I was capable of doing good work after all, and I was now an official candidate for the medical degree. I was ashamed of having believed in any prophecies and told myself, not only does he not love me, I am not even a good acquaintance whose welfare matters to him. He wanted to show me that we were complete strangers to each other, and it is humiliating if I now go to see him. But I decided to go the following Friday, but to act completely professional. The devil whispered other things to me, but I no longer believed them. I sat there waiting in deep depression. Now he arrives, beaming with pleasure, and tells me with strong emotion about Gross, about the great insight he has just received, how Gross defends polygamy. He no longer wants to suppress his feeling for me. He admitted that I was his first, dearest friend, etc., etc. Spring 1909. It was Wagner who planted the demon in my soul with such terrifying clarity. The whole world became a melody for me. The earth sang, and every twig on every tree. Thus Siegfried came into being. He was supposed to become the greatest genius. Dr. Jung's image as a descendant of the gods floated before me. I felt flooded with energy. All nature spoke directly to me. One song after another took shape in me, one fairy tale after another. When I confessed this complex to Dr. Jung for the first time, he treated me with dearest friendship, like a father, if you will. He admitted to me that from time to time he, too, had to consider such matters in connection with me, i.e. his affinity with me and the possible consequences. That such wishes are not alien to him, but the world happens to be arranged in such a way, etc., etc. This talk calmed me completely, since my ambition was not wounded and the thought of his great love made me want to keep him perfectly pure. Without your instruction I would have believed, like a layman, that I was dreaming of Siegfried, since I am always dwelling on heroic fantasies, whether in conscious expressions or in the form of a heroic psychic attitude. I am, and most especially always was, somewhat mystical in my leanings. I violently resisted the interpretation of Siegfried as a real child, and, on the basis of my mystical tendencies, I would have simply thought that a great and heroic destiny awaited me, that I had to sacrifice myself for the creation of something great. How else could I interpret those dreams in which my father or grandfather blessed me and said, "A great destiny awaits you, my child"? Berlin, 27th of August 1909. Arrived in Berlin last night. To my surprise, Uncle Adolf was awaiting for me in the lobby of the Hotel Kiel, where I am now staying. My room is certainly spotless, but not homey. Spare, simple furniture, tasteless yellow wallpaper. The window looks out on the opposite wall of the building, which forms 4 sides of a little square courtyard. No greenery anywhere. Cramped and barren. If one wants to be completely honest, one must also be able to note things down which give a little insight into the psychology of so-called modest girls, to which category I also belong. It lasted only a short while. Now it's over, and, well, it makes me uncomfortable to write about it. Let's overcome this reluctance. When I went to wash this morning, I closed the curtain, but in such a way that there was a gap through which someone could look into the room. I did not do it on purpose, but by the time that I was at the washstand and noticed the mistake, I did not feel like changing it. As I recall this, I can feel myself blushing. Can't believe I would ever think such a thing, and yet it was only half an hour ago that I was standing at the washstand and thinking, it's so nice when someone admires me, down to the waist, and I'm not embarrassed. I took pleasure in having the contours of the grown woman. 28th of August 1909. To finish up briefly with yesterday's topic, I want to mention that I could never stand by the window that way on purpose. The conscience has to be circumvented in some subtle manner, and then one can indulge oneself a little. When I was fully dressed, except for my belt, I noticed a nice young gentleman was gazing into my room. I felt myself blushing deeply, and this mild manifestation of the unconscious, which I noted quite objectively, pleased me very much. September 1909, Kohlberg. Friendship. Can it all dissolve suddenly? Mother says it is impossible for my friend and me to remain friends once we have given each other our love. A man cannot sustain pure friendship in the long run. If I am nice to him, he will want love. If I am always cold, then the coldness will hurt his feelings. That depressed me so much. Oh dear, what should I hope for? If I could move fate, if I could be sure that a plea spoken before witnesses would be fulfilled, I would pray here, dear fate, allow us, my friend and me, to be exemptions, allow us to meet each other always radiant with pleasure, to support each other in the joy, in sorrow, to form one soul, even at distance, to reach out our hands to each other in the search for the higher, farther, wider, or, as my friend says, the good and the beautiful, that we may be a support to many who are weak. Allow me to be his guardian angel, his spirit of inspiration, always spurring him to new and greater things. What awaits me when I return to Zurich? I am afraid to think about it. Why can't I be happy? Why should I go to bed day after day with the most sorrowful thoughts in the last days of my youth? Oh no, please, guardian spirit, allow there to be a pure, noble friendship between us, in the sense in which I understand the word. Allow this feeling to satisfy me completely and to become a ray of light in my solitude. He loves her. She is loved by him. 8th of September 1910. So why am I filled with agitation again? Why this pain? Things were going so well lately. Even earlier today I was still feeling young and strong and rejoicing in being young. I walked today for the first time along the Limmat, on the lonely path that runs parallel to Promenadenstraße. Everything was gleaming in bright colors after so many gloomy days. It was especially wonderful to look through the branches of those great old trees that bend almost down to the rushing water.